Which character do you think would be the project? Any idea? Of those characters, who do you reckon, Tom?
The girl on the string.
Of course, because projects are always slipping, and what does she keep screaming? I'm slipping, I'm slipping. Because of Tom's excellent answer, I've actually brought along so that when Tom goes mountain climbing, this will never ever happen to him, because I have bought $2.50 carabiners from Australia that you can clip onto your belt, Tom. If that ever happens, just pull another one out. You've got 5 there, and you'll be fine. Give you that little present.
Isn't that what we just asked the testing people to do one more time?
That's it. No, well done. So there's a few other ones that we have to worry about. The project manager. Who was the project manager in that little scenario? Sorry, which one?
Lady who drives the truck.
The lady who, the helicopter lady? You think? Which one? The
one that shouts that don't go.
The one that shouts don't go? Yeah, look, they're good answers, and really for some of these we could have multiple answers, but they weren't the ones I was looking for. Does anyone have any other suggestions? Sorry? Sylvester. Absolutely. And why was Sylvester the project manager? Because, number one, he's got the worried look. The worried look is always important, isn't it? When you're a project manager, don't ever look happy. Look like that. And the other reason is, he is the one who jumps out to save the project. Is that a project manager or what? Identifying the project manager? Okay, the next one is the tester. Who was the tester? Who made testing-like noises in this? Anyone?
The guy who said don't get on the wire.
Which one? The other guy.
I only rigged it for one.
I've actually got the script for this, which I'm going to hand out for an exercise that we're going to do later on, so you'll be able to actually keep track more of who said what and who the characters are. But in this case, he gave testing advice, didn't he? No, it's not rigged for 2 people. I'll send out my harness. He knows what's going to happen. They should have sent the harness. Why didn't they send the harness? How would they have sent the harness? Got no idea. My favourite one, the business analyst. Who do you reckon was the business analyst? The lady, the helicopter lady. Now, the helicopter lady, one thing I've noticed about business analysts, and I don't know if it's the same in your country, but I've found that sometimes what they say is kind of obvious. So hurry Gabe hurry, when Gabe is already going as fast as he can, he didn't actually get his iPad out while he was trying to save the girl and start surfing the internet, did he? I didn't notice him doing that. I noticed him hurrying. So hurry Gabe hurry is kind of a bit of an unnecessary instruction, really, isn't it? But it's a good living as a BA. And for that excellent analysis, we have some genuine Australian bugs here. These are beautiful, beautiful Australian cockroaches that you can see. They're freeze-dried and they're absolutely delicious on a Vegemite sandwich. So just fantastic. And the senior manager. Yeah, that one's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? It's the old guy. Because sometimes it's been argued that senior managers, what they do is sometimes maybe, I don't know, not quite as useful as one would think. And I'm thinking, the rope's attached to the helicopter, but he's holding it. It makes it look like he's doing something important, but does it really add very much value? So I like it. Now, so if we reanalyse the whole story, so the project is hanging by a thread. The project manager saves the project, as they always like to do. then the tester and the senior manager, I notice that, yeah, he seems quite happy actually about the girl falling off, doesn't he? Like, is that a smile or what? And that led me to lie awake at night and think, do senior managers really secretly want these things to fail? Do they get some sort of perverse pleasure out of this? I'm sure that's not true at all. I'm sure that's just me being silly. But yeah, it might have given him a bad score on his performance review that he'd have to argue against. Then we have this thing that dropped. Now this thing that dropped, we have found very useful in Australia because if we want to, sometimes we like not to talk with words, especially if we're in an agile team or something, if we're surrounded by people, we need to convey a message without sharing it with everyone. And so what we've done is the symbolism of this thing dropping is the symbolism that we use if there's a problem with a project. Let me show you how that works. You see, in Australia we have wombats. Wombats are really cute. They kind of look like this, but they're much bigger. And the only way you ever see a wombat in Australia is like that, when it's dead on the side of the road, because they get run over, they come out late at night, and you can't stop, and they really wreck your car. They do enormous damage. So we have our little mascot wombat, which I brought along. So if people come back from a project meeting that looks particularly worrying, they pick up the wombat and they do that. As happened with that. That means the project's about to crash. And it's a way we can convey a non-verbal message very effectively. And we'll talk more about non-verbal messages later on. But not all communication is spoken. And then of course at the end the project crashes of course, and at the end the tester thinks about what happened. As in so many IT projects, they should have listened to me. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. I guess we'll never know. And of course in many IT projects, because we're trading off, time to market and all sorts of other factors, it may be that they shouldn't have listened. Maybe it goes in with a defect, but at least it went in on time or something. So it's always a trade-off, as it is in that situation as well. What I found really interesting when I watched this film, and I realised it was about testing, is that they actually had at the end, they had black diamond equipment were the people who made that harness. Now, do you think it would be good for their sales if people actually realise that if they buy a black diamond harness, it's going to end up like that? So they had a very tiny, small printing at the end of the film. It said, the black diamond harness used in this motion picture was altered in order to create the accident. So you can safely buy your black diamond harnesses in future. But a bit of a testing failure really in their quality control, wasn't it? A bit of a testing failure that a harness went out that broke that easily. So, comparing that movie with an IT project, if we look at the common elements, how many are there? Like in the movie, they were optimistic when they began. IT projects, they're pretty optimistic when they start, aren't they? There was enormous risk, and there usually is with IT projects. There were high stakes, in this case the loss of a life. In the case of an IT system, it could be millions of dollars, and also loss of life. Time pressure, an emotionally charged situation, which IT projects are. There was conflict going on among the different people about what to do, different opinions. There were some promises that maybe weren't met, like Sarah, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Oops. Failure is often unexpected in IT projects, and I guess in this case maybe it was as well. So what do people think? Can you see some parallels there between IT and something like this? Does this to some extent reflect those different perspectives and the different drivers, different people involved in IT projects? Now, the way we can use emotional intelligence in testing, in the actual testing, when you test, and it's similar if you're a developer, and it's similar if you're a developer who does unit testing, at certain times you may feel certain emotions, and I think they're important to listen to. Because if you're a tester, the system is responding slowly, Does that, you know, and you're feeling yourself getting impatient. You're getting impatient because the system's responding slowly. Maybe we've got a performance bottleneck that we need to look at. If you're sitting there trying to test the system and you're getting completely confused about how it works, maybe there is a fundamental design problem in the system that needs to be addressed. So listening to the emotions at all times as you're testing, and not just saying, oh, whatever, I'll just carry on, is really important. Another aspect of testing that I've come across in my career is this idea that if I'm focused on running a certain test, and on the side of doing that test, I'm noticing some other thing that's annoying me, and it might be just something like the spelling of the names wrong or something, that I should then actually go and report that defect, even though that's not what I'm actually testing. So the emotional reactions that you get out, you know, even outside what you're testing, I think are important, and they may lead you to doing exploratory testing, and I think exploratory testing is a really, really good technique because it is driven by emotions. Or it might lead you to do something like a bug hunt, and I don't know if you guys have ever had a bug hunt before, but essentially it's just, you know, a big party where you get a whole bunch of people just to play with the system, try and find bugs. You give out prizes for the best bug. You get some pizza, you get some Coke. You know, so it generates a lot of emotional energy, which can be really, really useful in finding bugs. So in testing we can trust our intuition. And then in the broader context of what we've been talking about, all the interpersonal relations and so on, that's where we have to use our emotional intelligence to actually, you know, get things fixed.